Yeah, Lions on the prowl, Lions on the prowl. Always putting work, always going wild. Lions on the prowl, Lions on the prowl. Always putting work, always going wild. Best quarterbacks you ever heard. Get up, Matthew Stafford, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. They gon' get it in the zone. No matter how they try to fan, Darius Slay gon' get it in. Matt Patricia, ball Quinn, making sure our players win. Got a dangerous offensive, they always bring the pain. Talking about that Ricky Wagner, can't forget about TJ Lane. Detroit Lions got it locked. Tim and Jim gon' let you know. This the Lions on the prowl. Come on, time to start the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lions on the Prowl. This is episode 15. I'm Jim.
And I'm Maniac Tim here.
Wow, that was convincing.
Yeah.
Let's do that again.
All right, bring on Maniac Tim here, and we're at West Michigan Nutrition right now.
We are live at West Michigan Nutrition, and Andy's been gracious enough to let us be here today.
Yep.
It's going to be an amazing time. We got a lot of Lions talk for you today. But first of all, we're going to give some shout-outs. Tim, you got some shout-outs this week?
Yeah, okay, I got, of course, Colt, Josue, and also the Muskegon Mustangs again.
Muskegon Mustangs? Mustangs,
yeah.
Okay. You'll hear that door every once in a while, and that's going to be new people coming in.
Right.
Which is great.
Yep.
How's it going?
Hi.
How are you?
All right.
We're live right now, doing our show right
we're
here.
Live.
Well, kind of.
We better
So
be
we're
right.
going through the shout-outs now.
Yeah.
I got a shout-out for Andy, who's here right now.
Yep.
Don't say anything. That'd be too much.
Okay.
And Cam. Hey, there we go.
Yep.
We got some life now. We got some
Right,
life now. Is that Andy's dad we see over here?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on here? All right.
All right.
How's it going?
Good, how are you guys?
Doing great.
doing
We got a
good,
third
yeah.
mic if you want to come sit down. If you want to talk to us, great.
Good with mics, but
I'm Jim, not Mike.
Yeah. My brother's name is Mike, by the way.
His brother's name's Mike. Yeah, anyway.
is this all broadcast?
We're a podcast, and we
Right.
do it on the internet, and we have about 17,000 downloads this month. So,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So we're trying to do, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Stop on in. Because we're going to let it fly live right now. Okay. So my shout-outs today is going to be to my wife, Val. She's sick today, so she couldn't be here. So we got to get her going after
Right.
surgery. She's got her surgery July 2nd. So that's a bad thing. And then everybody here at West Michigan Nutrition, and we thank them for being here. It's going to be a crazy show. We're going to
Right.
be interrupted every once in a while. That's kind of the flow of things today. It's not a normal show, so I want everybody to know that right up front.
Yeah, we're here to have some fun and also discuss your guys' team as well as ours, the Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the Legend of the Week right now. Legend of the Week this week is Alex Karras. One of the fearsome foursome. Now, we did last week, we did another one of those guys.
Yeah, right.
Remember? Doug English.
Yep, Doug English, yep.
So here's one of his line mates. He was 6'2", and he was 248 pounds. He did die in 2012.
Right.
So he also appeared on Webster.
Right. Oh,
You know,
wow.
was an actor and things like that. But when he was on the football field, wore number 77, four-time Pro Bowler. He's an All-Pro 4 times.
Right.
He played for 12 seasons. Just a really, really
Right.
good
And
pass
now-
rusher.
And nowadays, that's a lot.
Yeah, people retire a lot earlier than
Right.
this because I don't think they knew then what they know now.
Right.
Karras is called an Iron Man since he only missed one game due to injury in 12 seasons. Talking
And that's
about that.
awesome. I think one game.
Yeah, sometimes, but I think, like I said, back then, they didn't know about concussions and all that stuff. They probably just
Right.
went right back in, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my bell rung, no big deal.
Right. And, of course, back then, it was a manly thing to do. Play hurt, you went ahead and took some pain medicine, and you just endured the pain and worked your way through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like I said, back then, they didn't know what they knew now.
Right.
It was expected of you to come back out and play,
Right.
no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Unless you can't walk,
Right.
pretty much.
and of course, the salaries have grown over the years, too, so
Right.
people can afford to retire a lot earlier. He actually done it for love of the game, too.
Yeah, true.
You know.
True. He was elected to the Iowa Sports Hall of Fame in 1977
Right.
and College Football Hall of Fame in 91. The fearsome foursome line mates, perhaps their greatest feasting on Thanksgiving Day against the previously unbeaten Green Bay Packers.
Right. And
I
that's
love
what's
saying stuff
awesome.
about that.
Right.
The Lions, through the havoc generated by the defensive line, sacked Hall of Fame quarterbacker Bart Starr 11 times to beat the Packers 26-14. Anytime we beat the Packers, I'm happy with that.
Yep.
I don't know about anybody else.
And especially when you get 11 sacks on them.
So for 1958 to 1970, the Lions were over 606 of the 13 years, making the playoffs only once with a 10-4 win-loss record Karras' final year. Quite a player, quite a memory of him. I remember watching the Webster show. He's in Porky's, too. He was also in Blazing Saddles.
Right.
Another one he was in. I remember. He's something else. It was something else. And that defensive line was something else, a fearsome foursome.
Right.
Long time ago. But we wanted to give a shout-out to that whole group
Right.
back then because they were outstanding.
Right. Yep, that's true.
So now, the Maniac Fan of the Month. Maniac Fan of the Month is Ray Moore. We said we'd be highlighting that every show, and we apologize because last show we didn't. So this show we're going to be telling everyone about Ray Moore.
Yeah, and, well, posted a lot on our Facebook groups. So real active fan for Lions on the Prowl, and also active as a Detroit Lions fan.
Right.
So that's why she was picked as Maniac Fan of the Month.
Exactly. Talk about the officials that were going to be retiring this year. Hopefully that will help us out.
Right, yeah.
Because there's one, Ed Hockley, who loves the Lions. Yeah, right. And then Gene Steratore, because he, like Skeletor.
Oh, boy.
He was the guy in the Calvin Johnson game.
Yep.
Where it was the catch where it wasn't a catch and all that. Yeah, he was in that game right there.
Right.
So he's retiring, and Hockley's retiring, Terry McCauley's retiring, Jeff Triplett is retiring.
Right.
And I don't think any of those guys did the Lions any favors whatsoever.
No, I don't either. You know, maybe once in a while call now and then, but not. It was more against.
Right.
You know.
And what we're hoping is that these new referees will cut us a little break.
Right.
You know, actually, I think it should go the other way. I think now it should be that the Lions actually get
the
more
respect.
of the calls and more respect because they've been disrespected for so many years.
At least evenly. Take the blinders off refs as far as you only see one team creating penalties when there are two teams out there that are probably doing it.
Exactly.
You know, we just want things done fair, the right way, you know, for the credibility of the NFL and also the credibility of the team.
Right.
Because if you earn something, you know, you don't deserve to have it taken away wrongly, you know, or somebody else giving something the wrong way, you know, another team.
Exactly. And that leads to a whole discussion. And here we go again. And every week it seems like we have to bring this up about the disrespect of the Lions. We had some feedback on it. We know that, you know, you're not happy with it some of the time, but I just want to explain why we do this.
Right.
The reason is because this is what's in the news. This is what's going on with our team. And so it is something that we have to cover.
Right. And, you know, it just seems to be embedded everywhere in the officials, but also in the media. You know, and even the gaming systems that we have seen. What we're doing is just trying to fight for the respect, to change the culture of disrespect to the respect as far as what the Lions should get.
Here's number one.
Yep.
Top 5 receiving core, right? This was NFL Network, I believe, again. Top 5. I'm going to read them off for you.
Right.
Top 5 wide receiving core, right? Minnesota, number 1. Atlanta, number 2. Pittsburgh, number 3. Kansas City, number 4. Cleveland, number 5.
Yeah.
Seriously, folks?
Right.
Cleveland is supposedly better than Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, and T.J. Jones.
Yeah.
Not at all. No way, no way.
I mean, the Lions won their games through the receiving core because they did not have help from the running game last year, at least not that much.
Absolutely.
And to go ahead and to disrespect, they gave Atlanta everything that they could handle.
Yep.
It actually took a questionable call for Atlanta to win that game.
Right.
You know, Atlanta did win that game. Credit to Atlanta. The Lions played just as good, if not better, than Atlanta.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
it was their receiving core that stepped up time after time. Guys like Golden Tate, Melvin Jones, Galladay. You just have them that bring it week after week. And then to be disrespectful and
2,000-yard rusher, 2,000-yard receivers.
Right.
Golden Tate over 1,000 yards. Marvin Jones over 1,000
Right.
yards. So, I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Again. It seems like maybe we're the only ones that know that these guys are good. I'm not really sure. I mean, this seems to happen all the time over all the media that we see. And we're going to the next thing. Okay. Sporting News ranking of head coaches.
Oh,
Matt Patricia rated dead last.
Really? Seriously?
Hugh Jackson went 0-16, and he's better than Matt Patricia? Really?
I don't think so. I mean,
this is absolutely ridiculous. And in the article, it says, Lions fans, just don't worry about it. You know, he's a first-year head coach, and I don't know how to rank him. You're going to rank him below the guy that went 0-16? Really?
Right.
Yeah, okay, don't get upset about it. Why not?
Right. And I wonder how, when the Lions went 0-16, what coach was ranked. Of course, he was fired after that year,
right, Marinelli. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But Sporting News,
right?
Which it's news to me. Let me tell you that much.
Right.
But okay, so now the next thing we're going to go to. I hate this because I don't want to be negative every week. I want to bring out the good, positive side of the Lions and how they're going to do and all this other stuff. But right now, I just can't because this keeps coming up. Madden ratings.
Oh gosh,
the Madden football game. For those who don't know,
right. I mean,
there are no players for the Lions in the 90s.
Right. And, you wonder how they get these things. If they just listen to, the negative press that the Lions get, is that how they make these ratings? Or do they really look at the performance of what they actually do in this season? Right. Because, this just really doesn't seem right because there's 89? Really?
89. That's 89. The highest rated Lion.
Right.
Too. So look at Matthew Stafford on this list. I'm going down the list real quick. Marvin Jones is an 86. Glover Quinn's an 85. Golden Tate's an 85. Matthew Stafford's 83. I want to stop there for a minute. Did you know Aaron Rodgers is 99 in the game?
Jeez. Why?
The guy can't even stay on the field.
Right. Why? Why is he 99? Why is he so much better than Stafford?
Oh, yeah. We're not talking he's 99 and Stafford's 95. No, he's 99 and Stafford's 83. Really?
Right. It just shows disrespect.
It shows the blatant disrespect by everybody that's not in Detroit on Detroit players. So I'll go down the list again. Only going down 10. Ezekiel Ansah at 83. Amir Abdullah at 82. Honestly, I think that's too high for him, but that's me. 80 for Theo Riddick. 80 for Tavon Wilson. And 79 for Matt Prater, which I think is a travesty.
Right, it is, because Prater's really brought back the kicking game to what the Lions used to have before they had him. He's a contender with, of course, Eddie Murray and also Jason Hansen. He's that good as far as being a kicker. He doesn't miss a lot.
We got people coming up. How's it going? Good. We have a third mic if you want to join us real quick.
All right.
I will ask you some questions. This is off the fly. This is the way we do things on this show, unfortunately. Okay. When and why did you become a Lions fan?
Oh, boy. My dad started taking me to Lions games when I was about 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
They were playing at Tiger Stadium.
Wow.
Yep.
Half on the dirt and half on the...
baseball diamond.
I have fond memories of going down Detroit when I was just a kid, back in the 60s. So I'm in my 50s now. So
wow.
That was a few years ago.
I'm getting there. 49 this 50s. Year, so I'm getting there.
So I, became a Lions fan at an early age.
All right.
Just kind of rolled with it all these years and been with them through thick and thin and never looked back.
So one thing we didn't ask you is your name, which probably should have been the first question.
Right, yeah, I caught that.
Dave Fazakerley. That's Andy's dad. Andy's the owner of West Michigan Nutrition, where we're at right now. And I just want to get that out there so everybody knows. So what's your favorite player? And that's all time. All time.
Right.
I mean, you give us 5. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Whatever.
All time, I always love Alex Karras. I mean,
that was our legend of the
Okay.
week.
Yeah.
okay,
This week,
all right.
Alex
Yep.
Karras. Yep.
Alex was awesome. Yeah, I remember him playing on the line, and he was just a madman.
Right.
Doug English.
Awesome.
With him. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been some greats. Barry Sanders.
Barry
Yeah.
Sanders.
Who doesn't love Barry Sanders?
Right.
My opinion, the best running back of all time.
Me too. Put him behind Dallas's line the same time as
Right.
Emmitt Smith.
Oh gosh, yeah.
He was running for his life.
There is no doubt about it. I think even now people come to realize that Emmitt Smith has more yards in total, but
Right.
because he had a longer career. But Barry Sanders was a better.
Right. And
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Barry just
Completely.
got sick of losing, unfortunately. Could you see Barry now with quarterback like Stafford? If you had
The offense that we
Stafford
had,
and
the
the
offensive line.
the receiving game that we got now, and with a running back like Barry, how great would that make the Lions?
Could have ever paired an awesome quarterback
Right.
like Stafford along with a legendary running back like Barry. It would have been
A dream team.
Would have been tough
Yeah.
to stop.
a true dynamic offense.
Right.
It would have been. And it would have been tough to stop, I think. Okay, let me go back to the question. What do you think of the offseason, including the draft? We've had the draft now. We've had free agency, at least part of it.
Well, it wasn't what I'd call a sexy draft.
Right.
Had just drafted Frank Ragnow.
Mm-hmm.
Solid pick. It's one of those kind of it flew under the radar. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Nobody expected him to draft somebody that's either going to be a center or a guard as
Right.
their first round pick. Everybody expected either a defensive end or a defensive
Defensive
lineman,
tackle.
maybe
Yep.
Even one of his top flight running backs. But
Yep.
and then Kerryon Johnson, and it looks like he's going to be solid out of Auburn. I really think he's going to be a solid pick.
I've gone the other way on that. I'm sorry. I watched tape on him, and it's just all it is the highlight package that they gave. So I watched that, and then we watched when we were doing our prep for the draft. We watched
Right.
a bunch of different running backs because
And
we
he
figured
would've
they
won.
would be getting a running back in the first, second round somewhere in there. He wasn't even on the radar. I didn't even look at him. So I looked at
Right.
all these other backs, Rashad Penny and all kinds of them. Right. So we'll go back and then I said, you know what we should do? We should look at Amir Abdullah.
Oh yeah.
So we watched his tape.
Yeah.
His tape was better than any of those guys.
But where's
was
it at
really
now?
funny. But they've said they're going to go running back by committee, which tells me they don't think that he's ready yet or something like that. Got LeGarrette Blount came in. You still have Amir, but they were giving LeGarrette Blount, Amir Abdullah, and Theo Riddick first team reps. So I'm like, I don't know whether they're just going to have him sit and and learn.
Well, I've come
And
to
be part of it?
realize, especially with running backs, that so many of them get taken in the later rounds, but then they excel in the pros.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
might not excel in college. So the college game doesn't always translate to the pro game.
Exactly.
That's true.
I'm kind of taking a wait and see attitude
Well,
about.
He was SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, he was.
Right.
Do you know the last person that Detroit drafted that was SEC Player of the Year? Running back. Archie Pinner.
Yeah.
And that just gives it gives all the listeners a perspective on what that means. I'm sorry, but they're not the same player. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know. I watched him run. I don't know.
I mean, everybody
Right.
knows that they need to solidify the line.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
can do that. They're going to give these running backs a chance to, find some creases.
Right.
And, everybody's always said with the Lions, they don't have to have the best running game.
Right.
No.
They just got to have
They gotta have.
an effective running game, which means, averaging around 4 yards
Right.
a carry
Right.
per season.
Right.
They have to have the threat of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just put 10 men back.
Yeah.
And run the dime every play,
Because, their receiving core has to rank up there with the best in the NFL.
It doesn't.
Right. Right.
Well, that's what we were talking about. We're talking about the disrespect of the Lions in the national media.
Yep.
The first, they had a thing. We weren't even in the top 5. Cleveland was better than us. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. This is
Laughable,
we just got through with that part of the show, and it was the top 5 receiving corps. They go. I just wanted to tell you because it's awful. Minnesota, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Cleveland.
Yeah.
We're not even in the top 5.
Right.
But for me, Golden Tate over 1,000 yards.
Right.
Marvin Jones over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay, he's going to be a number one at some point in his career. That guy's really good.
Everybody sees the obvious talent that Kenny Galladay has.
Yep.
I mean, he had a rookie year, just had to learn the system, get out there, got some unfortunate injuries.
Yeah.
Much like Kelvin did.
Right.
Yep.
Rookie year.
Yep.
Had some injuries, set him back, but you can see the potential start of him.
Right.
Yeah, you can.
He just has the tools.
He has a knack for getting the ball.
Yep.
He really does. He goes up at the right point. Yep.
He's got sneaky speed. He's
Yes,
a
he
long
does.
Strider.
Yep.
Very strong kid.
Yep.
And boy, he knows how to high point that ball
Yep.
and get over the top.
That's what I like
Right.
about it. He does. In fact, he almost reminds me of Marvin Jones a little bit,
Yeah. Yep.
except he's a little bigger.
He's a little bigger and stronger.
Yeah, but I like him a lot.
Kid, in shorts, you think, oh boy, this kid. You're really reminiscent of Calvin Johnson
Right.
when he was young.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, with his strength.
Yeah,
And height and
he's 6'4". I mean, he's a decent sized kid.
Right.
He's not quite as fast as what Calvin was.
No.
When he was a rookie,
No.
but
No.
He is, definitely
Yeah.
has some tools.
Barring
Right.
injury, I think he could take over the number one spot
Yeah.
if Marvin Jones would ever move on, something like
Yeah.
that. I like him. I like Ragnow. It looks like he's going to play guard instead of center.
Looks like they're inserting
But,
him as a left guard, yeah.
Right.
0 sacks given up his entire college career.
Yeah, not even a touch.
I know.
Not even-
not even a
Not even touch,
a
so,
hurry.
you look at that, and,
So I like that.
right.
Yeah, in fact, he kind of slid under the
Radar.
for a lot of teams because he had a phenomenal college career. But
Yeah, he did.
He was known by some of the scouts. If you start reading some of the reports that some of the
Right.
scouts had after the draft, and he was extremely highly rated by some teams. In fact, the reports were coming out that the Raiders, not the Raiders, but the Patriots wanted him.
Right.
Too,
Yep.
So.
Yep. That was the Patriots. You're right.
Right.
Yeah, they wanted him, and if they wouldn't have picked him at that pick, they wouldn't have got him.
No.
Which I think, you know what? So far, his drafting, I like most of it. Some things like getting the long snapper at one time. I don't know about that, but for the
Right.
most part, I'm on board with
Right.
what he's doing.
After having gone through a few seasons of Matt Millen,
Oh, me
yeah.
too.
Right.
just put a stake in my heart every draft.
I know.
I know. Mike Williams, that's all I got to
Yeah,
say.
How do you not love to hate that?
Right.
I mean,
It's just,
that was another one. Nobody thought that Mike Williams was going to be a first rounder.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
he is for Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a good
Played
thing.
college ball in a year, and all of a sudden, here he comes. Trot him out. Oh, brother.
So everybody's
know.
concerned about the defense this year. I'm not, because everybody's like, "Oh, we need an end. We need it." We don't,
No.
because what they're going to do is, as far as I've got it figured out, they're running a hybrid 3-4-4-3,
Right.
3 safety defense, where you're going to have linebackers coming in, safeties coming in. But that's what New England did. They had,
Yep.
40 sacks or something,
Yep.
and I didn't see the need for a first round defensive end.
Right.
I didn't. Because in free agency, we got the Kennard from the
Right.
Giants.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
going to be a big-time pass rusher. Ziggy's not going to have his hand in
No.
the dirt a lot of times. He's going to be roaming around wherever he can fit in.
Heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
And that hand that they picked up is a perfect end for a 3-4 defense.
I've heard
So
that also, yeah.
it's like there's a lot of things where even before the draft, I said I don't think
Yeah.
we need that. It wasn't a position I thought that was of need, just because of everybody else we have. Linebacker from last year, Jared
Yeah.
Davis too. I think is going to play a big part in the defense this year.
Yep.
They got Tracy Walker, who everybody's like, who? That
Right.
kid can hit. He's got some ball instincts. He's going to sit, I
They
think.
just don't have
But
a lot of big names
Right.
across the line, other than Ansa. He's the
But-
one that's got the national recognition. They've got a lot of other guys that are the guys that are going to be solid.
Right.
Right.
If you look at the Patriots, go back to the Patriots because basically
We're-
our general manager
Right.
and our coach now come from that
Right.
legacy line.
Yep.
They have done that without a lot of superstar
Right.
power.
Exactly.
They managed to have solid
Yep.
teams year in and year out, even though they continue to lose talent.
Right.
And they would just groom
Replace
them,
it.
people
Yep.
that would play And they did that because they found guys that were niche players that could fill a role, and they plugged them in, and they would win.
Right. Yeah, and
all I have to say on that is they went to a Super Bowl with Kyle Van Noy.
Right.
I'm sorry, that guy was awful for us.
Right.
Stunk as
Yeah,
right.
It was terrible.
But then again, you hear Kyle talk, and right away he brought up the coaching.
Right.
And they said, what was the difference with your success with the Patriots versus what you had with the Lions? And right away, I mean, he hemmed and hawed in the interview that I listened to, but it came down to coaching.
Yeah.
He just said that these guys put you in a position to win.
And
do you think? Well, I'm asking a question too because we kept some certain play. We kept the running back coach,
right,
and we kept the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Wise moves.
There's some things to like and not like about Jim Bob Cooter.
Right.
You know what I mean? He seems to have a good football.
Right.
There's times when I thought he got out coached.
Yeah, me too.
So, but he's young.
Yep.
I've got mixed feelings.
Yeah.
This is his third year as the
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
I believe so.
So I'm going to give him, just like you say, always give rookies 3 years to
evaluate
Right.
them.
really see
Yeah.
what they're made of. I'm going to do that with Cooter too.
Right.
See where he's at after this season.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that sounds good.
Now, I think one of the reasons they really kept him too was because Matthew Stafford likes him and worked well with him.
No doubt.
So and listening to an interview with Matthew Stafford, he said, "You guys are going to be surprised. We got to bring it." And that's the type of leadership that we need.
Right.
And he knows how to work with Cooter. And now hopefully we'll have a running game this year. We have one of the best receiving corps, no matter what people rank us. Usually you would think if you lose a guy like Kelvin Johnson, that you're going to take a step back. Well, the Lions did not. The receivers went ahead and stepped up. So it's just, not to.
I was telling some of my football friends too.
Yeah.
The Calvin that we knew of in his first 4 years,
Right.
was not the Calvin we saw in the last
no.
couple. I mean, he'd lost a step.
Yeah.
His hands were just a mess. 'Cause
Yeah.
he had those broken fingers.
Yep.
He wasn't dropping balls, but he wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Calvin we knew
He
first
he
couple
also
years either.
he also said in an interview that he couldn't bend his ankle, so he's
Right.
running flat-footed all the
Yeah.
time. And actually, I was seeing that in the
Yeah.
last couple of years. You could see that he wasn't
getting
running
the
right.
separation,
Right? Yeah, it just looked like something was off.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. He said his body he just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
When he announced his retirement, it's like these guys have to make
Yep.
that decision. And
Yep.
It's hard to play at the
Right.
upper echelons of any pro sport, and he just probably felt I can't continue to
Right.
play at the top levels anymore and what I'm used to doing. So it's time to hang up
Yeah.
the cleats.
And of course, most time he caught the ball, he would end up on the ground.
Yep.
So that's just a lot of abuse to the body.
Yeah, he did
And-
take a lot of hits.
Yeah.
He fell on his back quite a bit, too,
Right.
if I remember.
High point the ball,
Yep, and they
would
clip him.
Those guys would just hammer him as
Right.
he was coming down.
Yep.
Because
They would clip him a lot of times out of the
Yeah.
legs.
I think that was their modus operandi when
Yep.
it came to Kelvin. Is
Right.
Nobody could go up there and get the ball from him because he was so tall. And
Right.
High point the ball. So they would just try to hammer him on the way down and
Yep.
try to dislodge the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Try to get the ball out, too.
And of course, with the rules back then, which have now changed, where if you bobble the ball, even if you don't knock it out for a fumble,
Yep.
or
have full control.
yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I thought a lot of those catches should have been, especially that Chicago catch that he
Yeah.
called back. Yeah.
They went back and said that was a catch.
Right.
Calvin Johnson said, "Are you going to give me the yards now, too?"
I know, I read that quote too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was amazing. We've had some really good players that have come through here.
Right.
And the unfortunate thing is we've just never been able to put it all together in the Super Bowl era anyway. My dad was on the show last week and was in the 50s when they were winning championships. and remembering all kinds of older guys that I didn't even know. Because I'm old, but not quite that old.
Back to the late 60s and then through the 70s.
Mine's only through the 70s, pretty much. Yeah,
Mine's
that I actually
70s
seen
too.
Billy Sims and players like that. We did Eddie Murray one week, which my own memory of Eddie Murray is when he lost that game in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
It was 24-23, and he's setting up for a game-winning field goal, shanked it somehow.
Yeah.
It's just things like that. Yeah,
Right.
only the
It's
Lions.
like Murphy's Law.
It's part of being a Lions fan.
Yeah.
It is.
All these disappointments over the
Yeah.
years. But
And I wonder, I was going to ask you this, and I've asked everybody that I've talked to, what do you think the fix is for the Lions? What is the fix? How do you fix this?
It's just mainly being a consistent team. They've had teams that have been so close. And in the 80s, like I say, when we're going back to earlier with Barry Sanders, those teams were very close. They won a couple of NFC championships. And
91.
Yep.
And so they were close then. Some years ago, it was probably about 15 years ago, I would say they had some teams that were very competitive then too. So I'm thinking back with Herman Moore.
Yep.
Right.
Herman Moore, Perriman, Morton, Johnny Morton.
Right.
Scott Mitchell as a throwing the ball.
Right.
Then, I'm a left southpaw
Right.
myself. But here's a southpaw that was 6'5", and he threw the ball sidearm.
Right.
So he was throwing it 4 feet off the ground instead of 7 feet over the. I
Now-
never could figure that out. But
Do you think they left the run and shoot too soon? Because the run and shoot was actually the system that brought them to the NFC Championship
Mouse
game.
Davis.
They whipped up on Dallas twice that year. Once in the playoffs, to bring them to the NFC Championship game. Then of course they got whipped by Washington. In the NFC Championship game. Then the very next year, they went ahead and threw it out. I always thought it was too soon to. I thought they should add it to it.
there were some parts of it that I loved. It was
Right.
exciting to watch. But in the NFL, you gotta have ball control.
Right.
I agree.
To be able to, you got to keep your defense off the field a certain
Right.
amount of time, and that was the problem with the run and shoot. It was just
Too quick.
It was
Right.
Either they either scored points, or they were off the field in 3 plays. And,
Yep.
And so a lot of times the defense was just getting too gassed by. You could just
Right.
see it by the fourth quarter.
Yep.
That was my problem with the run and shoot.
That was mine too.
It was phenomenal in college, exciting to watch, but you just even now, the coaches that have, who was the Steve Spurrier tried
Yeah.
Right.
to bring that to the
Yep.
NFL, and that
I think it actually worked the best
Right.
under the Lions offensively.
yeah.
But as you said,
Yeah.
they just couldn't control the ball. They couldn't get the defense off the field long enough, so it was just shootout every time. And if they didn't score in almost every play. I mean, every series, it could stand to lose the game because the defense couldn't stop anybody.
And
Right.
If you look at how teams win in the NFL, so many times there aren't too many blowouts.
Right.
A lot of times it's a one-score game, but you go through that whole game. And,
Right.
and
Yep.
it's, you get down to the last field goal, or you get down to a touchdown, and it's just the one play that makes the difference, or it's a fumble. So
Right.
a lot of times it's just a single mistake, or it's
Yep. A
one-
call.
A call.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say that too. I was going to get your perspective on. We went through a bunch of different of those, different calls that have really cost the Lions over the years.
Right.
And I know it's not only us. We had a Minnesota game one time where we grabbed the guy's face mask with 14 seconds left. They never called it. So I mean, there's other teams that do this. We're not saying that this happens all the time, but the Houston game comes to mind, Thanksgiving Day, where the guy was down and he just runs to the end zone and they call it a touchdown and penalize us for throwing a flag to challenge it. And it's just the rules seem to be set up against them so many times. Is it a lack of discipline, a lack of knowing the rules, or what is it?
I think we're snake bit.
Yeah, that could be too.
People have analyzed it on Pro Football Focus. They're great with analytics.
Yes. Yeah,
they've done some stuff before, and they've analyzed calls, and they really.
Right.
The report that I read showed that the Lions really weren't getting by numbers bad calls any more than anybody else.
Okay.
Wow.
What they have
That's amazing.
is calls at very inopportune times,
Right.
or non-calls.
Right, both ways. I agree.
So when they stand out like a sore thumb like that, it might be we're getting a number of calls.
Right.
There's a difference between getting one in the first quarter and then getting one at the end of the game that
Takes away a victory.
There's a difference between a first down holding call and a 3rd and 5 holding call
Right.
for me.
yeah, oh yeah.
Or a non-holding call, or a non-pass interference call, like Calvin Johnson, last play of a Green Bay game. They just grabbed him, threw him down.
No
It was
call.
the last play of the game. They couldn't.
So
That was it.
They don't call it, sure.
Right.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I think that it's the momentum switches and the opportune times that these are
Right.
called. And it's funny because there's a lot of times where it's like they'll call a bunch of penalties against the Lions till the score is really bad, and then they'll make up the calls on the other team so it evens it out.
Right. And
I don't know, but it looks like
It
that.
does,
Yeah.
it does appear to that. Yeah. There's some intervention
Yeah.
that happens in these games.
Right.
I don't know if it's just where they got the officials want to just make the game competitive, so they do that.
Yeah.
So they think,
Yeah.
we've got to try to.
Even it out. I don't know. I mean, I think the officials need to be off. I mean, not our focus. When the official's the focus, I don't think he's done his job.
Yeah.
I really don't. And week after week, we're getting controversy like Seattle and Green Bay. There was a couple other ones that are just the catch for the Cowboys, Des Bryant.
Right.
Just awful calls, and it's like, what are you guys seeing? And you have video to get it right, and you still can't get it right.
Yeah.
You still have to be the main focus of the whole thing, which drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, I really think also that if we had a better history as a franchise, maybe some of these calls wouldn't have, we'd won more overall.
Right.
And these calls wouldn't have been such a big deal for those of us that are fans, I mean, we can, I'm sure if you were part of either the Patriots
Right.
or Green Bay or one of the
Dallas.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Dallas, single calls like that wouldn't be such a big deal. But for us as Lions fans, we don't have a history of winning in the last 6 decades. So some of these calls really stand out for us for a long time.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
Is it a matter of respect from the officials too? I mean, I know in the NBA, it's like LeBron James will get a call, or I don't know. Lately he hasn't, but in basketball it seems to be that way. The stars will kind of get calls and the other ones won't. Rookies won't, and this is almost expected. In the NFL, it seems to be different, but I'm wondering, just because of the legacy that we've had over the, like you said, 6 decades,
Right.
that's what's going on a little bit, that we're just not getting the respect.
I think there's that possibility. Sure. I mean, the officials know the history of the Lions just as much as we do.
Right.
So they go in and think, that maybe this team is conditioned to lose, and therefore,
They don't.
They don't play the type of football
Right.
that other teams do, and make a lot of mistakes and create a lot of penalties. So I don't think it's been as bad in the last few years as it has
Right.
I agree.
previous to that. And maybe it's because some of the coaching was that bad where the players were
Right.
just playing a very sloppy game.
Mm-hmm.
See, this show is from the perspective of the fan, and not, we're not professionals. Everybody knows that.
No.
But as a fan, watching those games, watching the missed calls on one side and the calls on the other side, for me, I don't know. I sometimes I feel it's on purpose. As a fan, you just get it right here.
Right.
We're emotionally invested.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
true. Maybe we see it biasly.
Right. That's what I think
Yeah.
too sometimes. But
In fact, my wife always tells me sometimes on Sunday afternoons if I should take anxiety medication because I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm
Oh, yeah.
ready to throw my shoe at the TV.
Me too.
Yeah, I hear you.
We were gonna come.
It's hard to get through a game sometimes
Yep.
without just wanting to, chuck something at the TV.
We were gonna come up with a foam remote control that actually works. It could throw it at the TV and it wouldn't hurt anything.
We're pretty emotionally invested.
Right.
I agree.
That's why we keep coming back, and that's why there's always hope every off season.
Hopium. Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I think overall, as Lions fans, we've seen 0-16, we've seen Matt Millen, we've seen Rod Marinelli, and all these other things. Monty Clark, I go all the way back, Wayne Fonts, all these different coaches, all these different combinations, the players that have come through, the systems that have come through, us trying to copy the Saints, everybody else, to me, the Rams.
Right.
When they brought in Mike Martz, they brought in somebody else, I think it was Lombardi, that was trying to bring the New Orleans offense here, and now we're on the Patriots offense. What do you think the chances are of this one succeeding where the other ones have failed?
Hope springs eternal.
I agree.
They're really trying to pluck off the Patriots'
Right.
legacy tree, and I think those guys definitely have it going.
Right.
They know how to draft. They know how to groom players. They know how to pick, as I mentioned earlier, pick players that fill a role, not necessarily superstars. Well, I sure hope so. I think Patricia seems to have that kind of mindset. He is definitely, he's got an engineering background, and I know enough about the folks that have engineering backgrounds. They're very, very meticulous in every detail.
Right.
And that seems to be what he's known for, is really crunching the details. So
I like that. Yeah. I like the fact that Quinn came in. He gave us a scouting department, which we've never had before. Right. I didn't know that until he came in there because I don't know why I didn't know that, but I didn't. He comes in, revamps the front office, takes out a bunch of people, puts his people in, and it was organized so much differently, so much better. The weight rooms were changed. Yeah. Everything was changed.
Right.
I don't want to disparage the man because he's not with us anymore, but William Clay Ford was the tie that,
Oh, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
He was, he might have been fairly good at running an automotive company, but picking coaches and staff, head office staff, he was definitely not good at.
Right.
I think Bill Ford, William Clay Ford's son, just seems to have a better mindset towards how to organize the team and how in the hiring aspect of it. And Martha, she's a no-nonsense gal.
Oh, true. Loved it.
Where William Clay Ford seemed to have that paternalistic attitude towards the people that he hired.
Right. I agree.
He wanted to hang on to them forever and give them multiple chances, where the fans
Too much.
saying, hey, we got to make changes. This just isn't working.
Right.
William Ford would, hang on to him for a long time. I think I see the change there where they've got people in place now that just, and an ownership team with both Bill Ford and Martha, that they're just not going to live with mediocrity or the lack of winning for any length of time and before they make changes.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tom.
I think that's the difference as far as from this change,
sure.
Because they went ahead, got rid of the former president and former general manager. They didn't only just hire a coach.
Yeah.
They hired, GM, which went ahead and got somebody from the same team, Patriots, so that they could build a culture. Now, unfortunately, we've been criticized as being copycats. But no, if you want to build a winning culture, I remember Martha Ford was called out by different media groups and the fans for, that changes need to be made throughout the whole organization. And she stepped up and she did it, just like you said. Sure. She's no nonsense. So I agree with you totally there. She brought in what she thought was right to go ahead and make a culture change.
And
yeah.
This is a what have you done for me lately league.
Right.
And if you're not winning,
right.
you make changes.
Yeah.
I can remember reading this. I watched hockey for years. And
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Scotty Bowman.
Right.
Scotty had a reputation for winning.
Yep.
And I remember one of the players saying one time, he goes, for 364 days a year, he goes, I hate the guy. On the 365th day, I pick up my ring.
Right.
And, I think the Lions, if we got coaches that, are not, Bill Belichick's not known for his
Pleasant demeanor.
Right.
Players don't brag about how much they have group hugs and
Right.
Exactly.
that type of thing.
But he wins.
Everybody wants to play for him
Yep.
because they're a winner and they're a consistent winner. And
Right.
If the Lions can get back to respectability, and I think they've made good strides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
The team isn't one of those teams that's a circle win anymore, where teams can just look at the calendar and say, "Oh, we're playing the Lions. Circle that one.
Right.
Put a W on it." They can't do that anymore.
No.
They're competitive. And week to week, it's a toss-up whether they're going to win, even against the good teams. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like he was saying the point of Quinn coming in and changing. Martha Ford, at
Right.
first, they thought she was just going to step aside and let somebody else do it. No, she
Right.
was like, oh, no. She
No.
fired the president.
Yep.
Tom Lawan.
Yep.
And then they, fired him. Cleaned house.
Yeah.
Bob Quinn comes in. They put in a new scouting department. I think that's one of the biggest things that's changed the draft in this team is a new scouting department. More accountability between the levels of the executives and all the people, the better organization. He has more information about those players and everything than I think we've had in the past.
Right.
So I like that too.
I think we're going to see some real insight into how, when and if Bob Quinn is as good as he possibly might think he is
Right.
with T's table. Now, listen,
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
was a young man that a lot of people, because he ran a slow 40, he had great stats in college, and but he ran that slow 40
Right.
at the combine, and everybody just wrote him right off. He dropped him from a
Yep.
first rounder to second, third, or wherever.
I think we picked him up second round.
Right.
Second round, but. Quinn was saying, I watched more tape on this young man than
Right.
any other player I've watched in my life, and he said he's really good, even though he might not be quite as fleet of foot as some of the defensive backs out there.
Right.
And from what I'm understanding, he's right now in the first round of or the first.
First team.
Yep.
Yeah, he's practicing
First string.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's doing well. So
I-
if he pans out, we'll see.
I don't think he's going to start. That's just my personal opinion. I think Nevin Lawson will start just because of the experience and all that. And if you put them two both together, because he has the speed and the other one has the instincts, you got a great corner.
Right.
But you have two. So I don't know. I mean, Patricia said at the beginning, don't read too much into who's where right now. I think they want to get him the reps against top flight, the top team,
Sure.
because they want to get him ready. I don't know if he's going to be the second guy or the third guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he could cover tight ends better or something like that, or a third wide receiver.
Big kid.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like a 6-foot kid.
Yeah.
So he's got long arms.
Yeah. So I could use him somewhere in there. I know he got burned quite a bit on one of the he picked off Stafford twice.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got instincts, and I like that, but I just don't know if he can make up for the NFL speed. That's the only thing I worry about.
There's
Right.
plenty of kids that I've seen drafted that had 4.3 speed that never really cracked a starting lineup in any NFL.
Oh yeah.
team.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It's great to have speed. You can't
Yeah.
teach it.
Right.
But positioning is as much instincts and positioning are as much.
I
do agree with that.
As that speed.
Exactly.
And depending on the defense you run too, I mean, he's putting him in his defense.
Right.
He knew, I have maintained that he's been building this team for Patricia for 2 years and not for Caldwell.
Right.
So, in my opinion, he has a spot and a role for him in his mind already.
Oh, yeah.
And Patricia has that as well.
Right.
So I think he's going to be out there. I just don't know if it's going to be opposite of Slay it right away.
Well, they say Tease is they're already seeing he's a student of the game.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time in the
Yeah.
film room. I can remember listening to Chris Spielman talk.
Right.
He said, I wasn't the fastest middle linebacker out there.
I know. That's true. Right.
And he said, I just made up for it. I'm knowing where to be.
Yep.
And knowing what down and distance, what the expectations were for the other team, and what their tendencies were, and he worked out pretty well for us.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure
oh my
did.
goodness. And that was the knock on him was speed. It really was when he came out. And, man, he lit people up.
Yeah.
I loved Spielman growing up, and then Boyd after him. But I loved Spielman.
We had some good linebackers there for a couple of years.
Oh, we did.
But and if the safety help, because he likes to run a safety-heavy defense, and if we got somebody, covering the back a little bit, so if he does get burned, we got somebody there. You know what? Not a big deal.
Right.
It depends on the defense you're playing. It depends on how he fits in that defense, and they know a whole lot more than we do about what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
And speaking of the safeties, I heard Quandre Diggs is really looking fantastic.
He was
Awesome.
He was returning kicks. He does everything.
Right.
Yeah, there's a kid that was another knock on him was his speed too.
Right.
Yeah.
Where he come out of Texas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I think so.
And he, if I remember right, and he didn't have a great 40 time. So, a lot of it, like I said, is just it's football skill.
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
football IQ.
Yeah.
And going back to when my high school glory days, I was never one of those people that did that well. But
Right.
I played with a couple of people that maybe weren't the most outstanding athletes. But you talk about football IQ, they just knew where to be.
Yep.
And I've seen it with other people, and boy, if they got that inherent knowledge of what other people are doing and down and distance
Right.
and when to be make the cut at the right time, they can do something.
Oh, yeah. It makes a difference. It
And
sure does. Yeah.
The one thing, even if he doesn't start, or even if he's a third corner out there, or if he is the starter opposite of Slay, it doesn't matter. The depth we're building on this team is better than I've seen it in years.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, we've got
Another knock on the line.
Yeah,
the depth.
the depth.
Right.
But we really have it in a lot of positions, and I like I said, I like the offensive line because we signed a bunch of free agents that were under the radar too, like Wiggins from San Diego. I think it was Wesley Johnson. He was from I hope I'm saying the name right, from the Jets, and Joe Dahl still there.
Yep.
I think he was injured, but I'm not for sure on that. And then that kid that was starting for Decker last year, Mahalik.
Yeah.
He looks good too.
Yeah.
And then they draft this kid out of Oregon who all he did was not give up a sack since 2015.
Yeah.
The dude's a monster, and I think he could replace Wagner at the right tackle position later on.
Sure.
I mean, it looks like they're building a lot of depth, especially at the offensive line position, the corner position, safety position. They're starting to build that team to where they can run multiple fronts and multiple this and that, especially defensively.
One of the things that I'd heard Patricia say when he was first hired is he is a big fan of starting in the middle of the lines and building out.
Building out.
You start with the line, you start with the big uglies,
Right.
You build out from there. The Lions for years went into every draft and looking for that sexy pick, the skilled players. And, I kind of drank the Kool-Aid myself, and
I did too.
Oh man, they got this guy or that guy, and we're going to win 10 games for sure. They drafted Kelvin. I thought that was an immediate 10-win season.
Yeah, I did too.
And he was every bit as good as we thought, but he was only one piece to the
Right.
Right.
And that's the thing, especially back then, because they didn't have the rookie salary cap then.
Right.
It really hurt us to have picks right in a row like that.
Yeah.
'Cause we had Sue, we had Stafford. I'm wearing a Sue jersey, so that was the pause there, guys. So Sue, Calvin, and Stafford.
Right.
And you had to pay them all like right now. Now we can get really good talent in the draft.
Right.
And then we're not paying them as much. It's almost a 4 or 5 year, 5th year option usually.
It was going to be just silly season after a while.
Yeah.
With the salary cap before they had the
Right.
rookie salary cap. Like I said, it was they were paying, especially some of these top guys, a top
Yeah.
quarterback. Say a rookie coming in, he was making more than a 10-year vet.
Right.
Winning record.
Yeah.
It was like,
It's just crazy.
We're paying rookies that are unproven in the NFL more than we're paying a 10-year vet that's got a winning record. That's just nuts.
Yeah,
I agree. And that's what hurt us. That's what hurt us. We couldn't fill out the rest of the team.
Right.
Because we had all these guys that were,
right.
top draft picks that cost us a ton of money.
Yeah.
It was at one point, those 3 contracts you mentioned, I remember reading an article that the Lions had more invested in those 3 players than any other team in the NFL.
Right.
In any 3 players. Yep.
Yeah.
Those big contracts were like an anchor on the team.
Yep.
So
Right.
you can't put together a complete team
Right.
paying your superstars that much.
Yeah, just look at Seattle. Look at Seattle. They weren't paying Wilson anything, and they had a great defense because they could pay people. They had no money.
Yeah.
He only had $600,000 or something, if I remember right. I mean, it was under $1 million, I thought. And now all of a sudden, they had to pay him, and look at that team.
Right.
It went from way up to like mediocre now.
Yeah.
They had to lose Richard Sherman. They've lost a ton of people on that
Golden
defensive
Tate, of
line.
course.
Yeah, Golden Tate, of course. But I was talking more about their defense to where they're not even a top team anymore, in my opinion. Yeah. So what you're saying, those 3 contracts, it was just so difficult to build a team around that situation. And we were like, Indianapolis did that, where they had a running back, Edgerrin James, they had Peyton Manning, and then they had a wide receiver out there. For some reason, it escapes my memory. So anyway, they went and got really, really bad. And I'm like, I told him, we were talking about it a long time ago. I'm like, man, we just got to get really bad for a few years, and we're going to be great.
Right.
We did, and then all of a sudden something happens, and it's like now we can't afford to build the team because we got too much money sunk into these guys. It's always something. My wife tells me that the stadium has been to the Super Bowl more than we have. Silverdome.
Silverdome, and oh boy.
So
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. But I think we're at better times right now. I really do. I think the salary is balanced. I know Stafford's making a lot of money. I think he's worth it. I really do. There's this question of, is Stafford an elite quarterback? I say yes.
Oh yeah.
I believe he's top 5.
All of his numbers, especially the last 2 seasons, scream top 5. Right?
Yeah.
I'm a numbers guy. I watch the stats.
Me too.
He's got definitely top 10 stats.
Right.
And a lot of you could make a good argument for top 5.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Brady, Rodgers, obviously, Drew Brees. You could.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to rank Russell Wilson better than.
Oh, no way.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
He's got ability, but he throws, 10, 15 yards.
He throws ducks.
Right.
A lot of times. Sorry, he does.
Yeah, and so he helps them win games
Right.
from the fact that he's got great feet. He gets outside the pocket and he throws a 10-yard dump off. And
Stafford's underrated in that category, too. He extends plays. He's been running for his life for years.
Yeah.
He should be good at it by now.
And he's also, the best comeback quarterback around right now,
25 fourth quarter comebacks, 8 in 1 year.
the Lions fans that hate Stafford do so just because of the fact that they don't have a legacy.
Right.
Thing, and I get it. So when I talk to plenty of guys at work and when I'm out and about, and sometimes you get the guys that just want to start dogging on Stafford, and
Right.
I hate
get
that.
it, but I do, and I don't pick an argument
Right.
with it because I understand the frustration of being a Lions fan.
Right.
I'm a Lions fan, 50 years. So,
Yep.
So
Boy.
I have a question for you.
sure.
Have you had your blood pressure medication today? I'm about to tell you something. This is the Madden ratings this year.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is rated 99. Any guess on where Stafford is?
Rodgers was 99. I'd say 88.
83.
83. Yeah, I would.
There is nothing above 89 on the Lions this year.
Yeah. The only one that was really good was Slay, huh?
That's it.
And nothing in the 90s, you know, or the.
Look at 79 for Prater.
For Prater. I couldn't believe that either.
Really? I mean, what better clutch kicker is there in the NFL
Right.
than Prater right now? I mean, he's been kicking
I know.
plus 50 yards.
Right.
Like most of them are kicking 35 yards.
I know.
You know?
And it makes no sense. And
Right.
we don't want to go on about it every week, but it seems like every week there's articles that come out about the national media, disrespecting our team.
Right.
And it's just, us as fans, it's like, that's a personal blow to us.
Right.
It's like, okay, Stafford's an 83 and Rodgers at 99. That guy can't even stay on the field, let alone do anything. He played against Carolina. What did they do? Lose? Yeah, that's what they did. They lost.
Yeah, that's what they did.
We have beat them 3 out of the last 4 games, and if it wasn't for a miracle call and Hail Mary, which we were totally unprepared for,
Right.
they wouldn't have won that game.
Looking at the rating for Golden Tate, too.
85.
Yeah, 85. And, I mean,
Right.
second best yards after, or the best
Yards after catch.
Carry.
And he had a 1,000-yard season last year.
It's like,
And, I mean, he is Pro Football Focus really rates him very, very highly.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Like I said, I always look at their analytics.
Yeah, this is absolutely surprising to me.
These rankings
are like outrageous.
their perceptions and
But that's what I'm trying to say. The perception of us, our team, in the
Right.
national media and the outside of Detroit is very low, and we
Right.
don't get any help from our own news media.
yeah.
Well, like Patricia's rating was 30.
32nd.
32. Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
said
just
this.
crazy.
I said Hugh Jackson's better than him.
Right.
He was 0-16 last year.
I chuckled at that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't even get a break over the Browns, but
Isn't that
I know.
amazing?
But
The Browns have a better quarterback than we do. Obviously, they also have a better wide receiving core than we do. I think the Browns are going to the Super Bowl. They got to be the
Where were
best
they?
team in the league. Sorry, it just gets to the point where it's
Right.
kind of madness after a while.
yeah, but it's something we expect as Lions.
Right.
Yeah.
We've learned to live with the disrespect
Yeah.
for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But the only way, and the players even say the same thing, the only way to change that is to win. And win
Right.
consistently.
Yep.
Exactly.
So,
And
they got to get out on the field and make it happen.
That's true.
Out on the gridiron.
That's true.
Well,
We have a
like
difficult-
Nike's-
Oh, go ahead.
like Nike's slogan is just do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
We have a really difficult schedule this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was rated the second most difficult schedule. But, and guess who's number 1? Green Bay. so I'm like, wow, that's awesome. But, it's going to be a really tough schedule for us. It's really, really early, but do you have a prediction for this year's record?
Yeah, the way too early prediction.
Way too early.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still not done with free agency, in my opinion.
After not even seeing any of our rookies or our offense,
Or a preseason game.
Yeah.
I'll just say right now 8-8. And,
Okay.
That's exactly where I was at. 9-7, 8-8. That's what I thought too. I mean, potentially. I mean, we could go 12-4 potentially.
Oh, sure.
Right.
But all these things have to click. The defense has to play well. It's a bend but don't break defense, which I really don't like. Injuries,
Right.
penalties. The refs take away at least 1 or 2 games a year, so you got to keep that in mind. The Atlanta game last year, that was huge.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was. That was a punch in the gut. Wasn't
Yeah, it
it
was.
Because then Atlanta makes the playoffs and we don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, well, and there's other fans out there that are like, hey, your team just isn't good enough. And I say, hey, we get all this stuff again. Oh, you're just whining and crying now.
Yeah, you're whiners, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So Green Bay gets this thing against them. That was that Golden Tate
Right.
back then. And we had, if you remember right, we had the scab officials. The officials were on strike. So Green Bay is whining and hollering, and the next week the regular officials are back.
Right, yeah.
Miraculously, everything worked out.
So what, does Green Bay own the league or something? You get to wonder.
I think so
you know?
sometimes.
They definitely get a lot more respect.
Right.
Nationally.
They do.
I I mean, for the smallest market in the entire country.
Yep.
They have a legacy of winning.
Right.
So
They do.
They get a lot more respect from the national media. And
They
folks,
do.
You can go around the country and you'll see people wearing the green and gold.
Yep.
Right.
And I've had the benefit of traveling all over the place for my company.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I
nice.
see a lot of Green Bay fans all over, and where you see pockets of Lions fans.
We are surprised at how
Right.
many people are Lions fans. We're
Outside.
worldwide right now. We have people in Germany and China and all over, Philippines, Hawaii, dodging volcanoes and listening to the show. I don't know what I'm doing out there, but I mean, nationwide and worldwide, we've got a guy that wants to be like the head of a chapter for us in the West Coast,
Right.
because there's 3,000
Oregon, right?
3,000 downloads in California.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think people that migrate from Michigan or are in the military are people that are around the world listening and are Lions fans.
Right.
And we don't really know how far reaching that is, because a lot of people go to Arizona and Florida and California to get away from this god-awful weather in the winter.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I think we have further reach than people think we do, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It's very possible. We got good fans. Like I said, I've been to a lot of Lions games at Ford Field, and even in the 0-16 season, I mean, it wasn't as dead in the Ford Field as you might imagine. I mean,
Right.
I went to a couple games that year, and people weren't exactly upbeat and happy, but it wasn't. The place wasn't empty.
Right.
There was a lot of empty seats, but I've seen some of the fields where you can look at Brown Stadium and there's half the seats are empty.
Right.
It wasn't like that at the Silverdome when they were.
Even when they were terrible,
Right.
they drew crowds, and they drew
Right.
loud crowds. Yeah. Even when they were awful, anything that the Lions fans can cheer about, they will.
Right.
Sure.
Anything. I think
Now-
we have the best fan base around.
I think we got a really solid fan base.
I do.
I really do. And
For all this team has taken, and all of us have
Oh,
taken
yeah.
over the years, it's incredible that we have the fans that we do.
Yeah.
Ford Field, I tell you what, when they won some games, they put together a string where they win a couple of games,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
looking good. They're playing good football.
Yep.
That place is rocking.
Oh, my
Right.
goodness.
You can't even hear yourself think.
A year they
Oh,
went
yeah.
5-0. They had Javid Best,
Right.
and he got hurt.
Yep.
They
Yep.
went right downhill.
Yep.
But when they had him, it was like 5 games early. They were just crushing people.
Yeah.
They killed the Bears like 35. They had 35-0 at one
This fan
point.
base is just thirsty for
Really?
consistent.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they will respond if the organization can put together teams that can win.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The 10, 11, 12,
Yep.
like so many other franchises
Right.
do.
Yep.
Like Pittsburgh typically wins 12 every year, it seems like.
Yeah,
this fan
at
base
least
is
11-3,
Yeah.
12-4, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
we.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing, too. I mean, if you look at this division, I mean, Minnesota's top.
Oh, yeah.
For me, Minnesota's the top of the class right now.
Right now,
I got
yep.
Lions second, Green Bay third.
Yep.
I don't think Rodgers has to prove it to me that he's better,
Right.
and that he can last another season, because if without him, they aren't very good.
Right.
I mean, they went into free agency a lot differently than they normally do. They went
They
and
did.
got big names in free agency, which tells me that they're starting to panic a little bit over in Green Bay.
Yep.
I think their top level play is going to be going down for years to come.
Right.
Really thought because they had Rodgers, he was going to fill a lot of gaps that they had on their team.
Yep.
Their
Right.
roster isn't a good roster, but yet people were overranking them just
Yep.
because they had Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that perception took a hit last year.
Right.
It really did.
Right.
Yeah.
There was another thing I was bringing up with Tim before is T.J. Lang, who
Yeah.
used to play for the Packers.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that last year he had 70 penalty yards? All the time with the Packers, he's only had 35. That's the most in any year. 2015, I think he had 15 yards in penalties. Comes to the Lions, all of a sudden he's holding all the time.
Yeah. So it just shows a focus on the Lions by the refs,
We got rid of the line coach, was Ron Prince.
Yeah, I did. That was a cancer from what I
After
heard.
he left,
Yep.
boy, oh boy, did all the floodgates of
Sure did.
negativity about this guy just burst open.
Right.
Sure did.
Some of the writers on M Live were even saying that nationally, other coaches and scouts were saying this guy was just not good.
Right.
Wow.
He had no business coaching a group of NFLers because he was obviously not doing a good job at all.
He was not doing a good job, but also he was, I don't want to say disrespectful because some coaches are disrespectful. Belichick comes to mind when you think about that, but he had no business being that way. He
Right.
didn't have the respect of the team and the players. He didn't have respect of the offensive linemen to be that way.
I think Caldwell was another guy back in the same vein as William Clayton. When he had his group, his guys,
Right.
he was very paternalistic towards his
Yes.
guys.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yep.
you would never hear Caldwell
Right.
say a negative thing about any of his coaches.
Right.
He's more of a player's coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so,
Or players.
Great guy, very personable man, very intellectual man. But let's face it, his teams were routinely getting outplayed and outcoached.
Right.
Out-coached for sure.
Yeah.
The use of timeouts
Oh yeah.
that bothered me.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Time management.
The time management.
Was just
The
Yeah, it was.
the way we would, if we got a lead, we sat on it and ran the
Which-
ball, even though we really couldn't run the
Yeah.
ball.
yeah.
No.
3 times you were right into a brick wall. I mean, it was how many times were the teams? I'm going to go back to Pittsburgh again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where you'd see them, they needed to grind out some yards, and everybody knew they needed to run. You knew they were going
Right.
to run. Roethlisberger was just going to dump the ball off, and they still got the 3 or 4
Right.
yards they needed
Yep.
to get the first down and just chew up the clock. We would do it, run into a brick wall, and it's like,
Right.
Okay, we've done it twice.
Why keep doing it?
We got Matt Stafford back there. Please,
Right.
Caldwell, call a 3-yard or 4-yard, little hitch play and
Slant
Play.
play,
and
anything.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
wouldn't do it.
it was brutal to watch.
Right.
Brutal, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
gosh.
Play to your strengths, instead of your weaknesses.
So Matt Stafford has run the 2-minute offense in the fourth quarter. How many times under Caldwell?
Yeah.
Why aren't they running that the whole time?
Right.
I know.
I mean, we'd be slaughtering people.
I know.
Why do we wait till the fourth quarter to trot
Yeah.
out this offense that fits Matt Stafford's
right.
skill set?
And did Stafford just take over or what? I mean, that kind of is the feeling that I got.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here, third quarter was the worst quarter.
Oh yeah, it was, and we would always, a lot of times we would, when we won the toss, we would defer the choice, to getting the ball to the second
The second half, but we
And
were terrible in
our
the third quarter.
we would always go ahead and give it up 4 downs and out, 3 and out. It's like,
And I'm glad.
right, yeah,
The argument was Caldwell went 9-7 2 years in a row, made
Right.
the playoffs 1 year.
Yeah.
My answer to that is that's not good enough.
no, it's not.
And so was Martha Ford, and fortunately for us, Bob Quinn.
Right, yep,
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
I love that attitude because before it would have been good enough.
right,
And now it's not.
nope,
And I don't care if we go 9-7 this year, 8-8, or 7-9, whatever. We're building something better.
right,
I will say Caldwell got the team better than what it was.
right,
He left the team better than what he took it over as.
Maybe.
But
I don't know. I really like Jim Schwartz. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I
He blew his top a lot, but I'll tell you,
Yeah.
in the early years, he built one heck of a defense.
defense.
Yeah.
he was
Vandenbosch, Sue, Fairley, Ansa. I mean, we got all
That was a
kinds.
wicked defense.
I mean,
yeah, it was,
and if we could have added the offensive to it, we were close.
yeah.
We were in playoff games. I think did we win a play? No, we didn't.
No, we
were
didn't,
in
because
playoff
the
games.
last playoff game we won was the 91 one.
But it seemed like every time we'd
Yeah.
have a good team, someone would get hurt.
Mhm.
A real big injury.
Right.
But I liked him. I actually thought they were building something there. And
Yeah.
then all of a
Offensive
sudden, boom.
coordinator, then he's down in Dallas right now. His name's slipping.
I
Which
can't-
one?
Under Schwartz.
Oh boy.
Again, I think he had 2, if I remember right. I know one was Lombardi. I thought that was with Schwartz, wasn't it? Or am I wrong on
I
that?
thought Lombardi was under Caldwell.
Right. Lombardi was under Caldwell. Yeah, he was under.
I'm trying
You're
to
right.
think
He
of.
got canned, and that's when Jim Bob Cooter took him.
Yeah.
Right, and who was the guy before that? See, I'm drawing a blank on the name
It's
now.
the guy he's running Dallas'
I don't know.
program right
Yeah.
now, and it's just mediocre there too.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
And
you know,
you need
we need that.
you need to score. Yeah.
But
right.
I like
you
the
need,
fact that we cleaned house,
Yeah.
and we decided that mediocrity wasn't good enough anymore, and that, like you were referring to William Clay Ford, and one of the knocks on him, in my opinion, too, same as you,
Right.
he would continue to accept mediocrity, and I don't know. I know he took the team over originally because he wanted a winner.
Yep.
That's exactly what he wanted, but I think over the years he just got beat down or something,
Right.
because
What
it just seems like
happened?
he would accept a 9-7
Yeah.
or that's a good season, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah, well, at the end of the season, every season, he would put out a statement, something from William Clay Ford, much to the fact that we're going to do what it takes, and we want a winner,
Yeah. But he didn't.
He wouldn't make the change
Exactly.
necessary
No.
to
Exactly.
make that happen.
Yeah.
too close to his people, and not enough.
It means a lot of tough choices.
Yep.
It means firing a guy like a Jim Caldwell, who's everybody says is
Right.
is an extremely nice man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's nothing
doesn't-
personal.
He doesn't win football games.
Right, and we had that with Wayne Fonts, where he wouldn't, they kept him, I think, too long.
Sure.
Well, they would make the playoffs every year
he
and
would
lose.
And the first year that he didn't make the playoffs, they did get rid of him.
Yep.
But
Yep.
people has
Well, we haven't been really that good since, but
that's true. Yeah,
Their heyday, right
really
there.
Right.
The Wayne Fonts days were the heyday.
and that's
it's
weird.
so sad.
Right.
We have to go back to Wayne Fonts to remember
Yeah.
fond memories.
Right.
That's terrible.
They had
But-
Barry Sanders factor, much
You're right.
like Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
With Aaron Rodgers, they had
Right.
that one
Yep.
superstar.
Yep.
They leaned on too much.
Right,
Yep.
and if they would have
Yep.
gave Barry a line, man, he would have been just so
It
much.
was the
fun.
Detroit Sanders.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Watch all those games, and he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I didn't think the defense was terrible at the time.
Yeah.
It was good. They had some pretty good
Right.
linemen and stuff. But my goodness, he would carry that team. If he wasn't going anywhere, neither were the Lions
Right.
that day.
Well, before that, Billy Sims.
Right.
Billy Sims.
I was
Yes.
just going to ask you about him. Yeah, he was.
I love Billy.
I did too.
And, Oklahoma guy.
Right. Yep.
Remember, right?
Yep. Oklahoma.
Man, oh man, he was another.
God, he
running
was
back.
good.
Yeah.
A lot
Unfortunately,
of
he got.
Strength.
Yeah.
And he just knocked people over.
Right.
And he had speed for his size
Yeah.
too.
And
He
then,
wasn't a shifty side
Right.
to side. He didn't
No,
have lateral
no.
movement that
Right.
Barry Sanders had.
No.
But
well,
just
he
like
would just had some power.
He would hit
too.
somebody. He would do a spin move.
Yeah.
They would just bounce right off.
Yep.
And a guy's got great balance and power when he did it.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett Blount reminds me a little bit
Right.
of Billy, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah.
jumps over players and stuff like that, too. And I think maybe that back that can get us those 4 or 5 yards. I mean, he is older.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we didn't have that before.
No.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hammer. The thing is, we didn't have that before.
No.
Even if you remember back to Barry, he wouldn't score touchdowns. They would put
Right.
someone else in to score the touchdown because he was not very good right along the goal line.
98 pounds or 200 pounds
Yeah,
or something
200. He was. Well, I don't know for sure. His legs were built like
like
a.
that.
I know.
He had, like,
Tree trunks.
but he was
Goodness.
only about 5'8".
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, then they would just stack the line when they knew he would get that ball, and at the end zone, it's very, you can even put more people on there, But, there was a few times he did get in, but, he couldn't really punch it in,
I hate bringing this up again, but I'll tell you what. The one guy I like, Javid Best,
Yeah.
they hand him the ball from even 5 yards out, he could get in the end zone.
Right.
And it was so bothered me so much when he would, they said, oh, he's injured, but he's coming back next
Right.
week.
Sure.
Yeah.
Never came back. Same, DeAndre Levy was kind of the same thing.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he'll be here. And then all of a sudden, year comes up. And
Concussion protocols, especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. These guys,
Oh,
I can't imagine. They're running at 20-some miles per hour,
Right.
some of these guys.
Right.
And when the
Right.
positions that they take, these are big, strong men. And
Oh, yeah.
they're
Yep.
hitting each other at full force, and their brains just got to get
Mm-hmm.
rattled inside that helmet.
Yep.
And I understand. I mean, they need to protect the health of the players. I mean,
I don't know. With Levy, it bothered me because you see videos of him walking on a plane, before the season, and then all of a sudden he can't play.
Right.
I don't know. That one bothered me a bit. Javed Best had a history of concussions. So.
Yeah.
When you look at that drop, that sky drop he took in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's why he dropped in the draft down to what 20,
Yeah.
20th, 21st or something, wherever Detroit picked him up. It was because of his concussion history. Southern Cal, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. We're diving in the end
I remember seeing
zone.
that on YouTube where he got flipped up in the air and just landed
Yep, right on his
Wow.
head.
right on
Yeah.
his head. And just
Yeah.
he looked like he was out cold.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And these guys, your brain can only take just so many
Oh, yeah.
hits like that.
But that season, I think, was a preview of if we ever had a running game, a legitimate running game.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, watch out.
He had the jitterbug shiftiness that
Yeah, he
was
did.
reminiscent of Barry.
Yeah, he did.
I can remember telling my sons that was watching Javed Best, and I don't think he had quite the power that Barry, because Barry
No.
just had it all. I mean,
Right.
let's face it.
Right.
Yeah.
Javed had that straight line speed.
And he had a burst.
Oh, yeah.
And he had that jitterbug side to side step.
Yeah.
And he just made guys miss. And if you gave him 6 inches,
Yeah.
he was gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
He could just flat out outrun.
And that was the thing because and to a certain extent with Reggie Bush in his first year,
Yeah.
where it was like they have to respect that. And now all of a sudden, Calvin's open downfield. You've
Yeah.
got all these other, except Pettigrew, you got all these other guys. We won't even go into that, but we have all these weapons, and I think it's similar to this year.
Yep.
Our receiving core, all three, I think, are really, really good.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
We have a good quarterback. We have
Yeah.
hopefully we're going to have a good offensive line, and hopefully this running back by committee thing, or if someone establishes themselves, I think we'll have a better running game.
Yep.
It could be the complete offensive package we've been looking for years.
I really believe so too, and that's the hope. I mean, they've invested a lot of draft picks. They've spent a lot of money in the free agency going after Wagner and Lang. So they put their money where their mouth is. They just need to make it work this year. And if that offense is as good as it could be, we think it might be.
Right.
Then they only have to have a decent defense to complement it. Just a defense that can, hold a team from just running down the field and scoring points.
Right.
Well, New England had if it's the same defense, which I'm pretty sure it's similar.
Yep.
It was kind of a bend but don't break defense. They
Right.
didn't give up a lot of points.
No.
They gave up a ton of yards.
Yep.
Right.
But they didn't give up a lot of points. So, that's a good thing. Plus, the rush is coming from other positions. I think they were pretty close to tops and not top, but top 5, top 10 of sacks
Yeah.
last year.
That's the hope with Patricia is that when he's bringing this custom defense that he's famous for,
Right.
is that they were known for making great second half adjustments.
Yeah.
And then they would tailor their defense.
Oh, that's the other
Right.
thing I thought Caldwell was horrible at.
And he even coaches before him because
I'm sorry. As soon as you said it, it hit me. I'm like, that's another Caldwell thing.
Right.
True Lions fan.
Right.
Going back to some negative,
And I didn't mean it that way. I just was thinking out loud is how much better hopefully this will be
Sure.
Right.
because of how bad it was.
That was a hallmark of Caldwell's teams is that we would get a lead in the first half
Yep.
and then relinquish it in the second half.
Yep.
And
Right.
unleash Stafford at the last 5 minutes.
5
and say,
minutes of
"Just
the
go out
game.
there and chuck the
Do
ball."
whatever you can. I'm
Right.
done. Here's
Now-
the ball.
This year, I'm hoping to see a lot more grand prizes instead of consolation prizes.
Yeah.
And what I mean by
that's
that
good.
is a lot more touchdowns instead of field goals.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, we didn't score. We didn't do very well at scoring touchdowns.
right.
No, Matt Prater earned every penny.
Oh yeah,
Sure
he
did.
did. He did, and even before him, of course, Eddie Murray and James Hansen, they've been at their times were top scorers.
Sure.
Over receivers and stuff.
I don't know what the stats are, but
Right.
how many games in the last 2 years have the Lions won where they needed a 50-plus yard field goal to
Right.
win the game?
Oh, a lot.
And
A lot.
If they didn't have
Prater or a
Eddie
kicker.
Murray or Matt Prater out there,
Jason
if
Hansen.
they just had some, Jason Hansen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've had some great kickers. They wouldn't have won a lot of those games.
No.
I know.
So,
The
Yeah.
other thing is, Prater's, when he came out of Denver, when
Yeah.
we signed him, I told him,
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
our kicking problems are over.
Right.
He just did horribly the first
know.
few games. And I'm like, no,
yeah.
I know. And I never did go back on
Right.
that. I was
I know
like,
you
no,
did.
no, he's going to be fine. Don't worry. This guy's really, really good.
Yeah, he
My
was.
wife says, yeah, sure he is. Look. I mean,
Yeah, we went through like three other guys or two other guys
Oh,
before
just
him.
awful
Then we got him, and
kickers.
it's like, okay, our woes are over and stuff like that. And then he misses. It's like,
Yeah.
oh
it
my,
was terrible
chip
for
shots.
a minute. Yeah, I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, our worries
right.
are over.
But now it's
Yeah, he's been
Gotten better.
ever since that rough patch where he
Right.
first came to the Lions. It was
it's like it was Murphy's Law.
yeah.
It was
I forget
for the
names of
kickers.
those guys
I know.
you're talking about, but yeah, they
Me
tried-
too.
They had 3 kickers. And
Right.
I thought they were just going to start flagging somebody out of the stands.
Yeah.
You want to kick a ball here? Somebody can.
Oh.
make this.
I know.
Do you remember who your wife wanted them to get? Kickerlicious or
Robbie
something?
Gold? Was it? Was it
Yeah.
Robbie Gold, the guy from the Bears?
Yeah.
Robbie Gold went to San Francisco or something like that,
Right.
And she said, "Yeah, you should pick that guy up." And I'm like, "Yeah, we should." And then we picked up Prater. Or did we
Right.
pick up Prater before that? I don't remember.
I think it was
She was
before
arguing
that.
with me about it.
It was,
Which happens
It was
very infrequently.
Very
I'm just
fortuitous
kidding.
for the Lions that he had that issue in Denver with the alcohol problem.
Yep.
Right.
He seems to have straightened all that out now, and
Or they just don't care.
he keeps it managed.
Yeah.
Right. It's,
Yeah.
Sorry, that was.
Whatever.
His gut looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's still enjoying a few. That's all right. I don't even
No.
care. I'm being honest about that. I don't care.
it's your performance on the field.
It's your
you know.
performance. If you're out there kicking drunk and you still make it, fine with me. I don't care.
Maybe it helps him see better. Maybe the first few games he was sober.
You see 6
No.
uprights up there. Just hit the 2 in the middle.
Hit the 2 in the middle. The Rocky movie.
Yeah.
I see 3 of them. Hit the 1 in the middle.
Right.
It's funny, but yeah, I think we're going in the right direction. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But I said this with Schwartz too. I really did. I said, "Oh man, this is close."
Eternal, right?
Yeah.
Pretty
Every
much.
offseason, we're
Pretty
ready.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we drink the Kool-Aid and take some opium, and we're good. That's a typical Lions fan, though. We love our team so much. We're so passionate about what they put on the field. Almost
Right.
protective, in a way. That when before the season starts, we're the best thing. Then when the season starts, we're like,
Reality
you
hits.
bunch of bums. Throw things at the TV.
Throw a shoe back at the TV.
Throw them at the
Right.
throw them under the bus, like Ebron.
Oh gosh.
Well, I tell you, we're already hearing the reports from Ebron that he's catching everything in the.
Oh yeah, I heard that
mini
too.
camps. He's catching
Yep.
everything thrown at him.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
Why couldn't you do that for us in regular games?
Remember, if you listen to if you watch or read the reports,
Oh yeah, every year. He
Yeah.
was
Oh yeah.
amazing.
But why not in real games though?
Actually, I thought last year he had a good season. for
Right.
us.
it was.
I thought I don't.
I thought they were going to hang on to him. I really did.
Yeah.
He did have a
Yep.
he did have a solid season last year. He was.
I think the reason they didn't. People are going to maybe disagree with me, but Michael Roberts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the draft pick, he had more touchdown catches than anybody in the NCAA, and he went to Toledo.
Sure.
Right.
But they used him as a blocking tight end last year and focused on Ebron, so he didn't even get a chance to catch anything. But this year, I really believe he's going to be one of our breakout guys as well.
Sure.
Right.
Did
Yeah.
you see the size of that kid's hands?
Oh my God, I know.
I seen a picture.
It was-
when a Porter put his hand on top
Right.
of Michael Roberts.
Wow.
Right.
His hand was like a bear paw.
Looks like Andre the Giant or something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
And that shoot with big hands that you can really catch those balls, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's an end zone threat that they don't
Yeah.
even know about.
Sure.
I mean, Galladay, I believe, is as well.
Right.
Marvin Jones. You got
Sure.
Golden Tate. And I like Golden Tate on an out or something
Right.
like that, or something, you know what I'm saying, or like just a short slant, or something where he can create,
Yeah.
because he's really good at that. And another, I said, he kind of got me he said, who's your breakout running back this year? I said Theo Riddick. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can make people miss in the open field. If he has any hole to run through, that guy could be really good.
Yeah.
He really could.
Right.
I mean, I know he's more of a pass-catching threat and has been, ever since he's been here. But he got a chance to do a little bit of running last year. I liked what I saw.
I think right after Howard from the Bears, he was ranked as the top third down back in the league.
Yep.
I mean, as far as he's that dual threat. He can make people miss. Not a great between the tackles runner.
No.
But if you get him a little bit of space on the edge,
you get him a hole.
on a little hitch or
Yep.
in the flat.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
just has that knack for making people miss.
He does.
First downs. I mean,
Right.
He does.
not a take it to the house kind of running back, but certainly
No.
keeps the chains moving and very, very effective
Yeah.
weapons.
Do you think Abdullah's going to do anything this year? Or do we even keep him?
Boy, oh boy, I just, you love the guy.
Right.
You mentioned him earlier on
Yep.
tape. I mean, he looks good. He's got eye appeal watching his game.
Yes.
I mean,
Right.
he's quick. He's not blazing fast, but he's got that lateral movement. He just doesn't seem to have the vision that he.
Oh, he doesn't.
No.
But I have a theory on that.
Okay.
I think he got hurt, and I think he's scared. I know that sounds terrible, but when I watch him, he goes this way, runs right out of bounds.
Yep.
He's not running anybody over. He's not trying to get the extra yards. He goes out of bounds. He tries to hit it outside mostly all the time. If he hits it back in and he hits the hole the right way, he can go.
Right.
But if he feels like he's going to get hit, he goes right to the outside.
Yeah.
He'd been injured a couple of times when he first got here, and I
Right.
wonder if that didn't affect him mentally.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on that other than the fact that his pro game is just very mediocre.
Yeah, it is.
When you look at his game, you think, man, this guy is
Right.
got some skills. Got
Yeah.
some serious skills,
He does.
Then he gets out there
And it's like,
he's only got like a 3 yards per average,
Yep.
carry.
right, that's true.
And that's not good enough.
No, it's
No,
not.
it isn't.
Nope.
Those guys
It
that
isn't.
are the top flight running backs are all got closer to 5.
Right.
They're in the mid 4s to close to 5. And, you multiply the number of carries by losing a yard or two, over the top flight guys
Right.
over the course of the season.
It's just,
A lot of yards you're getting.
yep.
It really is. I loved Abdullah coming out. Arizona wanted him. There was a whole documentary on that where they wanted him bad, and the Lions picked him. They were really bummed. So they get David Johnson. Yeah, it's
Right.
another luck thing for us. Anyway, whatever. But I see a different Amir Abdullah than I seen in college. And I don't know if
Yeah.
it's because of the translation to the program or it has something to do with what I was seeing. I really don't know what the answer is,
Yeah.
but I don't even know if he makes the team this year. I mean, he's
Yeah.
really cheap for us this year. I mean, salary cap wise, it'd be wise to keep him, I think.
Well,
Just
what
let
I'm
him go.
saying is he's got to beat out Zach Zenner.
Right.
And Zenner, even though Zenner doesn't have the skills, they're using him on special teams.
Right.
Where they don't use Abdullah on special teams
Well, they-
or like kickoffs. So
Well, they might. I mean, I think he could be a kick returner.
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
He does. He
But
has
I don't
some
see
skills.
why we would use him when we got that other guy,
Yeah.
Agnew.
Yeah, right. Agnew
I mean, it
is
doesn't
just
make
something
any-
like
Yeah.
an all-pro.
Yeah, as a rookie, I mean,
Oh, wow.
just
Hey,
a little
remember-
good.
Pretty hard to yank him off the field when he's
Right.
Right.
the
Right.
top guy in the league at kick return.
Right.
And then we still got Washington too, don't we? I think we still have him as well.
Yeah, we
And
still have Washington.
I liked him. I really did. And then all of a sudden he just disappeared again.
Well, he's another guy with no vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong,
Yep.
strong kid. You look at
Yeah.
him. he's
God,
big,
He is.
He's got speed.
Yeah.
Right.
But then he just runs right into the back of a lineman. I mean,
But is that because he's running back in the back of a lineman because there's nowhere to go? Or is it because he doesn't have the vision to find the hole? Or is there a hole in the first place?
Right.
If
knows?
we address that issue, if we get a crease for some of these guys, they could be much better.
Right.
You know, I don't know that yet. I think
Who
the
knows?
jury's going to be out until we start seeing them in the preseason a little bit, put some pads on, see what these guys can do.
Right.
But I don't know.
well, the
I'm
coaching staff really believed in those guys.
Yeah.
They had the talent, but not the blocking.
Yep.
I don't think they would have invested in LeGarrette one, and they wouldn't have gone after
carry on
Kerryon
chance.
Oh yeah.
They really wanted to get some new people in there, and which is telling me a lot.
Right.
It's
I agree
saying
with that.
They really don't believe that either Abdullah or Washington is going to.
Or Riddick, or I mean,
Yeah.
Well, Riddick has got.
everybody's got a role.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have a role.
and he's one of the top guys
wonder-
that have that role. So.
And I wonder if that's how they're going to be. How many running backs are they going to keep?
Right. Yeah. There's only 53
I mean,
spots.
Yeah, they got Matt Castle in the offseason.
Right.
So it brings up the position battle with Jake Rudock. And I'm questioning if they're going to keep 3.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I think this is the year that they only keep 2.
Okay.
And they probably keep one of those other guys, either an extra DB
Yep.
or an extra running back.
Yep,
really
I thought that too. But who wins that battle?
Yeah.
I mean, Rudock looks like from all the reports, says he's running the offense really good. But boy, when he came in last year, it was not pretty.
Right.
It really wasn't. And they trust Castle.
My gut tells me Castle's going to be the guy because just from experience.
Right.
What's going to happen though is they probably, if that happens, they're going to release Rudock.
Right.
But I don't know about that. I think they're going to trade him.
No,
You
that's
know,
a possibility. I hadn't thought about that.
I think that if they're deciding on Castle and they know that's going to be the decision, that they trade him before they have to release him.
Right.
Or at least gauge the interest. I mean, how many teams would like a backup quarterback that's young, that they can groom like that, that has a decent chance of making it?
Right.
You could get maybe a 4th, 5th rounder for him, maybe a little later, but
I
still.
would much rather see him if they're going to cut him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Trade them, get something from them.
Shrewd about it. And
Yeah.
because boy, I tell you what, some of those 4th round picks end up being the guys that are your.
Kenny Galladay.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, he's 3rd round, wasn't he?
Oh, he was 4th, I thought. I thought for sure he was a 4th round pick.
My memory.
I'm going to find out.
Yeah. Google it. Yep.
Beauty of Google here when we're live. So let me look that up.
No, those guys are your typically your 3rd and 4th round guys are the guys that
will
fill out your team and are the difference between winners and losers.
Right.
You know, where the teams that are well-rounded and have those backup guys, because every team is going to go through a stretch where you have injuries.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And if you're wheeling out a guy that just isn't top NFL quality, well, you see it right away.
Oh yeah, you
and
do.
Other teams exploit that. I mean, they see the same thing we do from our TV screen.
Yeah.
And those guys aren't stupid. And if they see, if the opposing coaches see somebody that's not able to, carry the weight, boy, they're going to attack that. They're gonna attack that
And you're right, he was
Right.
3rd round.
Yeah.
See? Got me on that one.
Yep. Go. They go for the
brain
wicked.
is
It's still going.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still working,
I might get
Better than-
Oklahoma this morning.
You have to have that. I already
Right.
forget who you are. I mean, no, but okay. So that I thought. I also thought if they have Abdullah and Arizona's still interested. No, I'm just kidding. Which I doubt they are.
Oh, we
anymore.
might be able to get a 7th round pick for Abdul.
Well, I was wondering if we could get anything out of him. I doubt it.
Well,
We couldn't
I
get.
don't know.
How many years have we gone into the season where we don't even have position battles because
Right.
the guys are all locked in already?
Exactly.
It's exciting to see some of these.
It is.
Where we've got
It is.
the talent stacked up where you got position battles.
Right.
I mean, this is uncharted territory for us.
And I like having solid backup players too. Especially like I mentioned on the offensive line. I think even on the defensive line. People think we don't have defensive line players. Who's Anthony Zettel?
Right.
You forget about Kerry Hyder because he got hurt all last year.
He
Forgot about him.
Oh, yeah.
The year before.
Yeah, Ashawn Robinson's a beast. He's going to
he is.
really fit in well. And then we got Sylvester Williams from Tennessee.
Yep.
And he's going to plug up some holes. I mean, I don't see it being as bad as most people see it.
Well,
Right.
They got a lot of disrespect by the national media.
True.
Not going after some of the. That's where everybody thought you were going to take one of the better defensive guys.
Right.
And they passed on him and went with Ragnow. And
I was happy with the pick.
I was scratching my head at first because I didn't know a lot about him.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't either.
Everybody else, I'm a
Yep,
fan.
I didn't either. We did the same thing.
Right. Who's this guy?
But then
Who?
after, some of the stuff that was coming out on Ragnow, and then you're thinking, boy, this guy was just an absolutely awesome player, and
An awesome guy, too, it seems like. I mean, I've seen a bunch of video on him, and I thought he's a decent character guy, too, which I also think they've been developing. I don't know if it's sneakily, but every position they've been drafting is leadership.
Right.
Jared Davis last year was a big leader where he was at. Ragnow seems to be a leader. There's a
Right.
bunch of different ones that they're putting in that were leaders on their team.
Yep.
that legacy tree is that's part of that whole thing that Belichick had was you draft people that are potential leaders that are not the ones out there in the bars at 2 o'clock in the morning and
Exactly.
getting a DWI and that kind
Titus
of
Young or somebody like that. He's not in
Yep.
jail.
Well, you're in there to get the job done, play football.
those nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm better than Calvin Johnson. So am
no.
I. Sorry, I had to bring that up.
You had to go.
But I mean, it's an obvious example of mischaracterizing somebody or not delving into them as much as you should have. And again, it points back to that scouting department that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I think Quinn has a bunch of lieutenants that go and give him all the information so he can make an informed decision. Whereas before, we were hiring that out.
Right.
I hate to say this, but you're hiring a company out that does this. I don't know if they're loyal to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah,
if
because
they've got the best interests of your team at heart. They're getting paid.
Right.
I mean, I understand the other guys are getting paid, but they're in-house. They're your friends. I mean, the people that you've hired to do the job, and, you'll be seeing them all the time, whereas these other guys, these other guys, who knows,
You also got to look him in the eye, Monday.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you got to hold each other accountable.
Yep.
Accountability is huge in any organization.
It really is.
Oh, yeah, it is.
really is. You can't have people going off the rails and stuff.
No, you can't.
And I think that's been better. I think that's been better. I think the quality of the people that we've been drafting, as both athletically and as character people, and I think that's something that under Schwartz, I think we lacked that a little bit. I think he let a lot of that go.
Oh, yeah.
Prime example of that when they picked Jared Davis over Reuben Foster.
Right.
I don't know. Okay, so the last thing I had heard about Reuben Foster was that it was dropped.
But they just said that Davis was a leader on the field.
Yes.
Foster had the reputation of being a hammer.
Yep.
Right.
He was a muscle hammer.
Yep.
But his football IQ.
Nothing upstairs.
Yeah. And and they said he wasn't a leader, and so I think they just decided to go after somebody
When they
else.
went with Jared Davis, had you ever heard of him before?
No.
Me neither.
Right.
I was on the hype train, and I thought when Foster
Yep,
started
that's what I
slipping,
thought.
Yeah.
I thought the same
that's
thing.
Lions,
Right.
We're going to pick him up, because
And we
athletically, the man is gifted.
He is.
And
He
so-
is. I think he's going to fit well. And this
Right.
defense, he fits better than the other defense.
Yeah.
He's going to rush the passer. He's going to stuff the run lanes. I mean, you've got these big guys that are going to take up 2 blocks each.
Yeah.
And then you got people, the lanes will be open for the from where that rush is coming from. I like how this is set up.
And
I do
everything
too.
I read about Jared is that he just lives for football.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Reminiscent of Chris Spielman again. He's,
Mm-hmm.
he's in the weight room. He's in the film
Yep.
room.
Right.
Studies opponents and just loves the game of football. And I tell you what, over and over again, you see guys that turn out to be all pros.
Right.
Yep.
You find out they just love the game of football.
You know, an underrated sign, and I won't say underrated, but Glover Quinn,
Yeah.
who studies film religiously,
Yeah.
has taught other people
Yeah.
what to look for on that defense. He's helped Darius Slay become an all-pro, in my opinion. Because Darius Slay was a young kid, cocky, good, but not polished.
Yep.
Right.
And he taught him how to look at film, what you're looking for, how to be a pro.
Yep.
And those guys are absolutely essential. I think we have that in TJ Lang. I think we have that in Ricky Wagner on the offensive line. And if you look, we have almost each position. I won't say linebackers so much, but you have that leader in all of those positions. I have to say LeGarrette Blount is probably the leader in the running back room.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you have Darius Slay is going to be a leader, but Glover Quinn's a leader right now.
Yeah.
And I like how they're setting that up. They got the veteran presence, they got the guy who's coming up, and then they got the guy that's coming up, you know, in the draft or the newer players that are coming in.
So basically, they're building longevity.
They're building, exactly. So they got Quinn, he's not going to be playing forever, so you've got all these other guys that are underneath him.
Right.
And then you got Darius Slay, who's now coming into his own and in his prime of his career.
Right.
Well, then you got like Tease Tabor and a couple other guys, even Nevin Lawson, which kind of puzzled me why they re-signed him. But anyway, I like his speed, but I don't like his instincts.
I mentioned him earlier, but Quandre Diggs looks like
Quandre Diggs.
He's going to step right in after.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Quinn.
exactly what I'm talking about. Is they have people in position to be all pros after the all pro that taught them is leaving, and then they can teach the next group.
Right.
You know, so I like that. It looks like they could develop a winning franchise for years, not just for a while.
Legacy continuation.
Right.
It's
Yep.
huge.
Building a culture, a winning culture,
Yep.
So.
Exactly.
And so the one guy I was going to ask you about that I didn't is Miles Killebrew. He supposedly wasn't doing very well in OTAs and,
I heard that,
Yeah.
and it's like, it would seem to me that this defense would be much better for him than the last ones. I just don't understand the disconnect. That guy hits really hard.
Yep.
He plays hard. He just
Plays
don't
fast.
get it though. I mean, so far.
Maybe under Patricia, he'll do the same thing,
Van Noy did.
What's that?
That Kyle Van Noy did.
Van Noy?
Right.
But the
And I
thing
was gonna
is,
say where he has a resurgence. So
that's what
Yeah.
bothered me though. He is under Patricia, and they're saying he's failing now.
Well, give him a season. You know what I mean? This,
Yeah, I hope he gets a season.
yeah.
He may not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to get out there in the field.
I love the guy out of college.
yeah, he
I
is.
did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought he was great.
Right.
And
Well, I'll tell you
then,
what, when they first started putting him in,
yeah.
they didn't have anybody that could guard a tight end for a while.
Right. And he took that
Ryan
over.
was in there,
Yep.
and then
Oh, yeah.
put in Killebrew, and with his speed and his
Yep.
ability to
Yep.
match up with those guys,
Right.
he was able to guard those tight
Exactly.
ends that were crossing over the middle and just burning the Lions.
Yeah, they were killing us
Damn
with
it.
tight ends.
Oh, yeah, they
every
were.
Game.
Yep.
We were watching that
Yeah.
every game. Nobody could cover a tight
No.
end. And then they put him in there, and
Then
they
right
fixed
away
the
it
problem.
fixed
Right.
it to a great extent.
So then what happened? I mean, you got that, and then what happened? That's what I don't understand. It looked like he was doing great, and now all of a sudden he's no good?
Yeah, he's
It
just
doesn't
kind of
make any
melted in. He's
sense.
blended into the background now.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
right.
He's
Yeah,
still with
I
the
don't-
team, but
don't
he's
get
just
it.
not making any
Yeah,
noise at all.
it's got to be up here.
Right.
That's what I think. It's got to be
He's lost
upstairs.
Confidence. Confidence is a big thing for
Oh, yeah, it
these
is.
guys.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Not knowing his mindset, there's always that potential.
Yeah.
It is.
Hopefully he can bring it back,
But there was that guy. Let me see who else. I like a lot of players on this
Yeah.
team. I think this team is maybe 2-3 years away. I do. I mean, I don't think it's this year, but hey, stranger things have happened.
Sure.
Right.
I don't think it's this year, especially with the schedule they have this year. It's going to be very
Especially
rough.
early, they're going to have to. If they got any chance of making the
Right.
playoffs this year, they're going to have to steal some of those early games.
Yep.
That
Yep.
They're not going to be
Yep.
favored to win.
Right.
In that first half of the schedule, I've seen it too, and it's brutal.
Right.
They're going to be underdogs in
Yeah.
most of those games.
Most of those games.
And so they're going to have to.
And of course they
steal
got
some of those games.
They got Green Bay at the end again.
Yeah.
So
But if you're gonna be the best, you got to beat the best.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I agree with that,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
he says that a lot.
That they got, just step up and beat them. I mean, they, in order to be a winning team, you may not win all your games, but you got to go in there where you can win all the games. Any opponent, and I mean, hopefully they win. It'd be great to go 16-0. But I mean that's not going to happen. But it's just and I'm not predicting it, but I'm just saying go in there, at least be competitive.
Well, we get the advantage for a change,
right?
Of coaching. We're our coaching
right.
coaches the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And when's the last time as a Lions fan you finished up a season and said, hey, this is where we outcoached
right.
it. A lot of times we just beat other teams with talent,
right.
And maybe stole the game here and there because of some lucky breaks. We got an interception at the right time.
Fumble recovery.
At the right time.
Missed field goal.
Yeah. So we came
on the other team.
Right.
But
and,
you'd usually say, boy, this game and that game, we just got out-coached.
Yeah.
We made adjustments in the second half. They came back and took it to us. They found our weaknesses and exploited them.
right.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Right.
it would be great if we turned the tables on some of these other teams
Right.
and, had a coaching staff that could,
Right.
take
Then,
it to the other team.
Then some of the times we would see it where the Lions would go ahead and they'd play like a real good team, and then the next game they would play not so good of a team, like Cleveland, and they wouldn't bring it, all the time. Yeah, I mean, they'd beat the last year's Super Bowl champs, but then they lose to somebody like Cleveland or somebody not You got to be prepared every game,
Sure.
and you cannot ever underestimate your opponent, no matter how bad you may think they are.
If your team, winning and losing, is
Right.
only predicated on adrenaline,
Right.
where you're just really hyped up because this game has got national attention, or you're
Mm-hmm.
playing the best this week, and so everybody's is amped up to play
Right.
a certain team, and you win, and then you go back and play one of the bottom tier teams, and then you lose it. Then, you're not playing like a professional.
Right.
You're prepared every week. I mean, and that's both the players and
Right.
the coaching staff.
Yeah.
They've got to make sure that whatever their system is, it gets those players in the best position to win
Right.
every week.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when you go play a West Coast team, you're going to be a little bit off,
Yeah.
But how many times have you seen the teams, the East Coast teams, they go to the West Coast,
Right.
and they find a way to win. They might not play a great game, but they find, I'll go back to the Patriots
Right.
again. I mean, I've seen them over and over. I watch a lot of football, and there's times when they look like crap, to
Right.
tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, they find a way to win in the fourth
Yep.
quarter. And
Yep.
I'll tell my brother at work the next day, I'll say, there was a time where, the Lions would have lost that game,
Right.
but they found a way to win it.
And we found a way to lose.
Yeah.
That, and we played down to the level of our competition.
Sure.
Right.
And I think
that-
it's one of the biggest things where coaching has failed us over the years. Where if we're playing, like you said, you can get them up for. It's easy to get somebody up for a big game.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to keep them up for that game if they think they're going to win.
But maybe
That's the job of the coach right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
and maybe the lieutenants that they're hiring, the leaders that they're hiring, as far as in bringing these players, that are leaders, that's going to bring them up, because 16 games, that's really a brutal season,
Schedule. Yeah. I can imagine these guys are probably every joint in their body.
Oh, yeah.
After by
Right.
mid-season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not it's a man's league.
Right.
It still is. I mean, I think it's softer than it used to be. But it's still a man's league.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. You're going to have your share of injuries, and they say bumps and bruises, but it's more than that.
Right. Well,
Well, when you hear Brett Favre having to, he was hooked on
Pain, yeah.
Yeah, painkillers.
just to make it through, so he could,
Right.
so he could get through the season, and there's a reason for that. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't start out. He didn't just one day just decide he was going to start taking, heavy doses of
Right.
painkiller
Right.
because he felt like it. He did
Right.
it because he felt he had to.
Exactly.
And he got,
Right.
And he got hooked on it.
Well, it's almost time to wrap up the
Wow.
show. I want to thank Dave. It was an
yeah.
awesome pleasure to have you on with us.
Yeah.
Great being here.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim, for another wonderful Lions on the Prowl episode. And we'll be back at you next week. And everybody have a great week. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great.